So I watched Maker Muse's video on laser safety recently. He made some good points. These machines literally burn things to make cuts, so they put you at risk of both fire and breathing in smoke or other gases put off by the lasering process. Meanwhile, xTool recently sent me their 20-watt laser. This thing really has some power, so that means it's really going to put out some smoke. So I picked up an enclosure to go with it. That should help contain any fires because the material is fire resistant, and it'll help collect the smoke. But that smoke still needed to go somewhere, and I have no windows to vent it out of. That meant I needed to drill a hole in the side of the shed. So I got to work, and naturally my mic was dead, so please enjoy this fine background music by Fear of Water. I marked my hole with a super long, thin drill bit. That way I could come at the hole from both outside and the inside with a 4-inch hole saw. The idea was that this would help ensure a good quality cut, but I wasn't able to stick to that plan. The drill on the hole saw wasn't long enough to reach the pilot hole because of the raised parts of the sheet metal on the outside. So I just drilled the whole thing from the inside. This process was super intimidating, which is why I'm sure a lot of us just live with having a bunch of laser smoke in the workshop. What if I placed the hole in the wrong spot? And what if I did it wrong anyway? I'm taking a perfectly sealed up, dry place and sticking a giant hole in it. But it didn't turn out to be rocket science to drill this hole. The vent pipe was a super tight fit, and therefore it was hard to get it to slide in. But that was a good thing for a tight seal anyway.
I think maybe these burrs are stopping it. There we go. Oh yeah. Oop. Immediately broke it. This is probably all very bad.
I further sealed it up with exterior caulk.
We're gonna do this the messy way. Okay, here's to hoping that this actually fits. Caulk is just getting everywhere. Cool.
And then I secured the vent to the outside with some rubber washer-backed screws.
Like, this is maybe a problem. Water's just gonna drip in here and have nowhere to go. I'll actually fill it up with some spray foam, and then I can shave off the top of it later.
On the inside, I realized I had sort of made a mistake that I was now stuck with. I really should have stuck a pipe extension onto the vent when I was outside, wrapped that connection with aluminum tape, and then shoved it through the hole. This would have allowed me to pick an intentional length for the pipe on the inside. For example, I could have had it sticking an inch out of the tool wall if I had wanted. But instead, because of this mistake, I got super lucky because the vent was almost exactly the distance to the surface of the tool wall. So I could still hook up my hose inside, but I didn't need anything sticking out of the wall to trim up after the fact. But
to get the tube to go past the inside edge of this plywood, I had to bend the edges in, kind of like a pseudo crimping. And now I'm gonna try to straighten that back out so I can get a connector in there. And let's see if our adapter will fit. Close. Well, that's not too bad.
Now I needed to get the flexible hose from the enclosure attached to that converter. This was a bear, but it was better too tight than too loose, from a seal perspective at least.
There, that's not bad. I mean, that was awful, but it's over now. All right, so in order for this system to work, it needs to be easy for me to pull this thing in and out when I want to be done with it. So, yeah, that's not bad, as long as I don't pull the hose off. You can definitely feel the cold air coming in, but I can shove some makeshift insulation in there. But it'd be cool to make something to cover this up when you're not using the laser.
So in the spirit of environmental protection, I grabbed a board salvaged from an old broken dresser. It was about 1/2-inch plywood. and I started the machine.
Oh, it was aired out because of a flame check. Well, I see no fire. Okay, so in theory, I should just be able to restart this thing. But without the parts, turn those layers off. And I'll set the speed to 5 instead. Alright, let's try this again. Oh, I don't know. I guess I gotta send it home first so it knows it's home. Well, no. Yeah, okay. I'll send it home. And now it's on absolute coordinates. So the art hasn't moved, the board hasn't moved. I should be able to just hit start again. Ooh, I kind of don't want to do that one dot though. I don't. Okay, I'm gonna remove that hole. So now when I do this, it should skip the screw hole at the top and go right back to the beginning of the line that it's cutting. Let's see what happens. Well, it's definitely cutting on the same line, so let's call it a win. Okay. So this time I didn't have to shut off the laser, I just hit stop. Let me look up xTool flame alarm. So the internet suggests that I can change the level of flame sensitivity, but I've got to download this xTool Creative Space app, and then I can do it in that tool. Okay, here we go. Flame sensitivity, low. All right. Try this again. Definitely spitting out some ash. We got farther than we did last time. We'll continue to remain on fire watch. Oh, dang it. It moved at some point. Rats. Okay, so this will be our test one. I set the camera back at this point just in case this starts on fire. I'm ready. Got the fire extinguisher right over there. I did slap some laser glasses on because this is so bright, but if I wasn't standing here staring at it, I wouldn't need them. This thing is really tight. Same goes for the air. It's kind of cool to be in here and making progress and not have everything smell smoky. All right, it's done. There's no fire. Let's see how this looks for round 2. So this cut is 12 passes at 3 speed, 100% laser. And I'm guessing that there's no way that it, oh my goodness, look at that. Clean through. Wow, I didn't expect that. Cause this one was 12 passes at 5 speed. But this made it through all the way. I didn't have to do any messing around. Oh, that's awesome. The one bummer is that I, of course, deleted off the little screw hole because I was repeating the cut, and now I've got to drill a little hole. No biggie. So I've got a spot marked for that drill hole. Basically what I did was, I know this is 1 inch across. I divided that by 2, 1/2 inch. I made a couple of marks based on the edge here, and by kind of referencing those marks off of each other, I was able to determine pretty close where the center is. Close the door. Keeps it insulated when I'm not using it.
The xTool 20 watt feels like a game changer. It has so much power that instead of thinking, I wonder if the machine can do this, you start thinking, how can I get the machine to do this? But the venting side of this is also a pretty big deal. If you're someone who's just opening a door every once in a while to let the smoke out, I'd argue that an enclosure and true venting is going to be similarly huge for you just because it makes the process so much more pleasurable. And safe, you're not sitting there hoping that you're not wrecking your lungs as you work on a project. Definitely don't wait to do it, just do it. Thanks for watching.